What's up, John Six? How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm well. I'm well. Appreciate you. Guys with Eyes, episode 29. Here we are.
Yeah,
Rocking and rolling.
happened so fast, man. Almost at number 30.
Bro, it's like a blink of the eye. Like, literally, six started in episode 6, and here we are at
hmm
freaking 29.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Dude, I tell you what, though, I've been having so much fun doing this with you every week. Like,
Dude.
like don't get me wrong. It's been stressful a couple of times. Like, are we going to do this?
hmm Yeah, and little mishaps here and there, like the little audio mishap we had last week, but that ain't gonna happen again. So.
Oh, it's 2 weeks ago now, man. Speaking of time flies, but 2 weeks ago now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, and I think that's a testament to our perseverance, our FIO, our ability to figure it out, both of our ability to pivot and just like make it work. I know we've done late nights, we've done early mornings, like things like that, to where like we're just gonna figure it out. We figured out Riverside, which is still a work in progress. Like we're just like, boom, okay, all right, we got this. And I kind of want to start here. I'm so damn thankful for you and just being able to deal with me and my butt, figuring it out, traveling all over the place, and just working with me. And man, I can't tell you how much gratitude I have for you and everything that you do kind of behind the scenes with this stuff.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you so much. This is something that I never really thought I would do. And like just stepping up into the role, being like one of the guys on the main on the podcast, like it's not something I thought I would do. So I appreciate you for pushing me and getting me out of my comfort zone. Cause this was not something that like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to start a podcast. Like, but now it's literally one of my favorite parts of my week, man. Like every single week. I'm
it brings me so much joy. like not only to talk to the people that happen to watch this and like bring a little bit of knowledge that I've had from life, but like just being able to see your beautiful face every damn day or every week for sure. Like, cause now that we work in different sections, I don't get to see it every day.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Like it's unbelievable. So we're just getting started too. That's the best part.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I appreciate you, man. It's like I said, it's literally one of my favorite parts of my week every single week. Like it's so much fun every single time. And it's been amazing to get to meet new people through it too. Just get to change people's lives. So I just want to say that I appreciate everybody that watches this, because I mean, seeing comments, getting comments back on like Instagram, DMs, everything like that. Like guys, keep it coming, because I absolutely love all the feedback.
Dude, I'm telling you what, I got some good feedback on last week's episode. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, dude! I got a couple people who are telling me like there's some little nuggets in there to apply straight to life, easy stuff.
That's what we try to do here. On the Guys with Eyes podcast with Sully Lukey and John Six, just a few nuggets here and there, that people can take to the life.
Hey, that's the goal.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, what you up to? How you doing over there in St. Louis, Missouri?
No, I'm doing great, man. It is beautiful out here. I'm actually at Mom's house because the Wi-Fi is a little better here, and the gazebo that we just put up recently, it is super nice. Like it's keeping me out of the sun, so it's a little cooler because it has been crazy hot here. I don't know about where you're at, but it was like 95 on this ruck that we did on Friday with the team. It was super hot. We picked some shade, so it wasn't as bad, but yeah, I've been loving it, man. It's been actually helping with me, kind of firing me up for the cardio. Whenever it's hotter, it kind of gets me motivated.
Dude, I personally always take heat over cold. I despise being cold. And people are like, "You're from Wisconsin." I'm like, "I know, and I don't want to go back. There's a reason I don't live there, bro." Like, it's great to visit, but like, I just do not like being cold. But that's just me. I'm glad it's getting warm over there. The difference. So I'm over here in Colorado, right? Like it's been warm. Yesterday we had a nice like little windy day. It was still pretty warm though. But there's very little humidity. Unlike you guys. Like you guys look outside, it's like you took a shower. It's just hot and sticky. But that's like that Midwest feel, right? Like,
yeah, dude, the humidity gets crazy. I remember being at football practice at like it's 90 something degrees out. But coach comes out, says like, "Hey, take pads off. It's 110 heat index, so we cannot play with pads today." And it's like,
damn.
that's nuts.
Hydrate.
Oh yeah, I gotta stay hydrated, baby.
Yeah. So what was really cool is that being out here, there's a CrossFit event going on. So I met up with Kaylee, Dom, and Brian Cater, and
Yeah.
we took on the Manitou incline. And like beforehand, like we're all just like, oh no, hydration sticks, electrolytes, sodium, magnesium. Like at least get one in, like because we're about to take this
Hmm.
climb on, and we're just like, we need it. Caffeine can only
Absolutely.
go so far because it actually dehydrates you if you drink too much of it. So
Hmm.
you got to find that perfect balance of water and sodium and magnesium and all that stuff. And luckily, our hydration sticks came in handy.
Yeah, dude. Actually, I've been feeling that lately too. Since the body fat levels are getting a little bit low, it's harder to hold on to those electrolytes.
Yeah, especially with
I
the
know,
carbs lowering, you don't want to hold on to that
hmm
water.
Oh yeah, no, that's the goal. We gotta get rid of all that water. I mean, that's something that I always mention when you talk about holding water. You're not gonna hold water if you do not have body fat. So
Yeah.
that's something when you get lean enough at the end, you don't gotta move that water around. But yeah, no, I've been adding the hydration sticks in, throwing even more salt into my pre-workout. That's a great way to
Yeah.
stay more hydrated there. The pink salt doesn't taste good, but it works really good to hydrate you.
Dude, on my eggs, so when I cook my eggs up, so I meal prep my eggs in the morning or in the night before, right? That way in the morning I'm
Mm.
just like zombie mode eating them. But like I'll throw salt on them as they cook. Then before I eat them in the morning, I just like load that Himalayan sea salt on there, and I'm just like they're a little salty, but you know what? I gotta get started because I drink so much water throughout the day, to where like if I don't get a kickstart on my salt, to where I can actually hold the water in me, like I just pee it out all day. Like I'm peeing enough already. Like I need those extra electrolytes, so I just load it up and I salt everything. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely don't have a sodium problem. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm. Oh yeah, dude, I'm the same way, man. I put pink sea salt on literally every single thing that I
But
cook.
the crazy thing is that a majority of our diets are like kind of more whole natural foods, right? And
Hmm.
when you're eating whole natural foods, you're eating non-processed foods. As humans, we actually need that sodium. It's the
Yeah.
problem where sodium comes in is when people are having all those processed foods. Well, in order to preserve those foods, they need to add a crazy amount of salt and sodium.
Hmm.
And that's the reason why doctors will recommend you like scaling back salt or and scaling back all the sodium in your diet. It's normally because people are eating a highly processed food diet, and that's not really a good thing because whole natural foods you can actually salt your food and make it taste good.
Yeah, yeah. When you're cooking yourself, you can actually put the right amount on to make it taste good
Mm-hmm.
and actually work well for you. Yeah, that's huge. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, if you match your water intake with your sodium too, like that's where you're not going to hold water either, because you
Mm-hmm.
create a flushing effect, and that's actually something you do leading up in peak week. A lot of people will increase sodium, increase water, and then drop it a little bit at the end. But I won't get too deep into that. But basically, if you have a little bit too much sodium, like you do have a cheat meal or something like that, drink a little extra water and it can flush that out. But yeah, it's really having the big amounts of sodium from those processed foods that causes the water retention and increases in blood pressure and things like that. Because like even if you have high blood pressure, you can consume a good amount of salt as long as you're keeping that water in, as long as you're flushing it consistently. And that honestly, it makes me think about something a lot of people miss with hydration too, and that's potassium. Potassium is an extremely important electrolyte for keeping water actually inside of your muscle so you can properly contract that muscle. And you want to get 4,800 milligrams of potassium per day. And just if you could actually go through your day and see how much you're getting in, like whenever I first did it, I was a couple thousand milligrams short, even getting in vegetables, getting in different things throughout the day from my whole foods that have potassium. I was falling like around the 2,000 to 2,500 milligrams. So it's where I've intentionally added in foods that have more potassium and throw in things like that hydration stick to get a ton more in. And it has changed my training at the end of this prep because I've been feeling really good.
Yeah, and like it's crazy because growing up as a kid and really like as an athlete my entire life, the only food that people talk about having potassium is a banana. And in the grand scheme of things, bananas actually don't have that much potassium. You'd have to eat a crap ton of bananas. So, like, I think you put it perfectly. and this goes for like kind of the whole conversation as a whole, like whole foods, hydration, sodium, electrolytes, like everything. You have to be intentional with what you're doing on a day in, day out basis. And then once you're intentional with it, once you become aware of it, you can fix it, and then you can continue on with your life and just build those habits, build those foods into your life and into your lifestyle.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to. Like you just have to be intentional with little things that you may be missing. And then that goes back to what we were talking about last week. If you're not able to get those things in that you need to fill those gaps, and that's where the supplements do come in. But you always focus on that nutrition first. That's where, like, to give an example of you guys for the potassium that I was trying to get in, I recently added in asparagus. So that's any like green veggies are going to have a good amount of potassium. Absolutely love asparagus.
Bro, I throw some olive oil on them, pop it in the oven, and like it's that easy. Or olive oil on it, wrap it in some Reynolds wrap and throw it on the grill. Asparagus is
oh yeah, dude, oven or grill, it is delicious. I mean, I'm in prep now, so I got the freezer bags. Just pop that in the microwave, baby. 4 minutes, we're done.
Ease, baby. Ease.
Oh yeah, but added in things like beets and then also sauerkraut. So sauerkraut, beets was for nitrates for help with blood flow, also has a good amount of potassium, but also added the sauerkraut for getting probiotics through whole foods from my diet. So I just was intentional with these little things adding into my diet. Now that I am really low on calories, got to focus on those micronutrients.
Hey, just for the people, can you explain why the importance of the sauerkraut and the probiotics?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. I should have done that anyway. But yeah,
that's good, man. That's why we're
exactly. But yeah, so probiotics in the sauerkraut are super important because it actually helps to improve your gut microbiome. So your gut microbiome is just the environment in your gut, the good and bad bacteria. And it adds more good bacteria to that. And essentially what that does is help you properly absorb the nutrients from your food. So while I'm dieting right now, my calories are really low. That's extremely important because I'm not getting as much nutrients in. So if I'm able to absorb them more efficiently, then I'm going to be able to get more out of that low amount of food that I have. And then, I mean, think about that for gaining muscle too. If you're properly absorbing that food, you're going to build more lean muscle tissue rather than storing that food as fat. So that's where improving your gut health through using something like probiotics in things like sauerkraut, any fermented foods that are sitting in vinegar. So you could do like kimchi is another one. And then Greek yogurt, that's one of my favorites right there too. Super easy to get in.
Pickle juice?
Yes, pickles is a good one too. It's not the best, like on the highest amount of probiotics, but it definitely does get you some. And it's when you get that variety in with different probiotic rich foods, that's where you're really going to get the most benefit. So that's where I try to keep in some Greek yogurt right now too, to get those different strains of bacteria, the good bacteria, the probiotics. So,
well, you know me and my Monster Mash. I'm getting my probiotics in with my Greek yogurt. So,
yeah. But yeah, I know a lot of people aren't going to do that. The sauerkraut. I posted it a couple times on the story, and people are like, "Yeah, I'll do everything there, but the sauerkraut."
Beer brats all the time, bro, and I'm just not a sauerkraut guy. I am not.
Really?
I'm not a sauerkraut guy, but it's okay. I get it in other ways. It's okay.
Yeah, no, you got options.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the world that we live in, especially like in the United States here. Like, you can't tell me you don't have options, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say that you don't have options, you like, come on now. Like, me and you have been balling on a budget, okay? Like, we've been there. I was a poor airman at one point in time. I think one of my paychecks, now I lived in the dorms, I know, stuff was taken care of, didn't have to pay health care, blah, blah, blah. One of my paychecks, when I first started out, it was like $831 after tax, and I was just like, ooh, this is going to last me 2 weeks? And I was just like, brother, I thought I was in the real military. I thought I was going to get paid, and I didn't. So, like, we've balled on a budget before, okay? That if you're just like, if you say you can't do it, you're making an excuse because there's always a way. I think what I want to touch on really quick, just to double tap, is that you said it really quick, but a way that John Taylor puts it around HQ is that, like, hey, you are not what you eat, you are what you absorb, right? So
absolutely.
Like a lot of people here like, oh, you are what you eat, and it's just like, okay, kind of true, but more realistically, it's what you absorb, right? So if you're absorbing shitty food, if you're absorbing crappy nutrients, like that's what you are. If you're absorbing good food, if you're absorbing good nutrients with the probiotics from your good gut microbiome, you are going to feel better, be more efficient. Your body systems are going to work better.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great, simple way to put it. Like, you are what you properly digest and absorb. And that's going to help you with no matter what your goal is. And if you're not trying to build muscle or lose fat right now, you're just going to feel and perform better every single day, because another additional benefit to improving your gut health through probiotics is most of your dopamine and serotonin are produced in your gut. And that's the feel good hormones. Dopamine is the motivation molecule. So if you have better gut health, you're going to feel better overall and be in a better mood, be able to get more stuff done. And I definitely experienced that myself, because I have IBS and I've had some crazy gut issues in the past. And looking back, my mood is always way worse because of that. It's not just because of the pain in your stomach. It's because those actual like dopamine and serotonin. I know with serotonin, it's around 90%. Obviously, it's a little bit different for each person, but it's almost all of it
It's
is produced in
crazy.
your gut.
And they actually say that the gut is the second brain. Like, so
Yep.
much is connected to the gut, from mood to happiness to depression, that like and this, we're not going to touch on this much, but like this goes into fecal matter transplants, right? So you're taking
Mm-hmm.
like good fecal matter, you put it in a different person or different thing, and their mood will actually change because their
Yep.
gut microbiome has actually changed.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, dude, the connection between the gut and the brain, I got to nerd out a little bit on that
Go,
since you
go.
mentioned
Cook,
it.
baby.
So
Cook.
that actual connection is through the vagus nerve. So your stomach is connected to your vagus nerve through nerves in your stomach. And that's actually where you get that gut feeling from things, or if you look over an edge, like you have that fear of heights and you're like, oh, my stomach hurts. That's because of that connection between that vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve is actually what controls like fear, anxiety, and things like that like fight or flight mentality. So when you get that weird feeling in your stomach, that's because like that's your sense of fear or anxiety. So when you're more anxious, you're going to have worse gut health. Or the other way around. When your gut health is off, you're going to get more anxious. So that connection is actually like very, very tightly connected, and it's through that vagus nerve. So improving your gut health can really help with everything. And I've noticed, like, I always thought that I had a ton of anxiety growing up, like, and I definitely did. But I think that relates back to my gut health too, because it was always messed up no matter what I was doing. I was trying to gain a bunch of weight as an offensive lineman, wasn't quite big enough, eating as much food as I possibly could, constantly messing up my gut health. And it really changed everything when I focused on improving that because of that vagus nerve connection and the serotonin and dopamine produced in your gut. So that is something, when I focused on gut health, it changed everything in my life, improved my overall quality of life. And I just had to nerd out a little bit, because that's something that has really, like, I know that can help every single person if you can improve a little bit on your gut health each day.
Mm-hmm. And dude, I absolutely love that. And like, there's so many people who are like, oh, where do I start? Well, let's start by taking the processed stuff out of your diet. Like that's the first thing. Is like we mentioned it earlier. Like, focus on nutrition, right? Eat whole natural foods. Throw in a lot more greens, fruits, and vegetables than you ever did, than you ever have before. Because I guarantee you, like it'll help. Okay. Eat easily processed and digestible foods. So me, it's like potatoes, rice, steak, chicken, things like that. Stick to those as the basics, and then start adding some stuff back in, and you'll just see your gut health improve like 10 times.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you just think about it as like the classic, like, bro bodybuilding style foods. Like, I mean, they work really well for digestion, and you don't have to eat them plain like most bodybuilders do. So
Oh man,
you gotta season your food, guys. Like,
season
eat the
your food.
bro
Don't be like
foods.
a white boy like me, okay? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Yeah.
science. You can season your food. We already talked about salt. Throw some pepper on there. There's some really good stuff out there. Season your damn food.
Yes. Yeah. No, I heard you had to get taught a little lesson about that overseas one year, right?
Dude, I told that story a long time ago, but I'll tell it again. Like,
Yeah. Let's go.
my friend was making fajitas, Aaron Patterson, and every time I tell this story, I shoot him a message, and he still just cackles. But he was making fajitas. I got my eyes done, dude, so I like can't see, right? So I got it's called PRK. It's where they laser my eyes, blah blah blah. Now I can see.
Yeah.
But he made us fajitas, and I just like took a bite. And I'm like, oh my god, this tastes so good. I'm like, what did you do to it? He's like, I added the seasoning powder. And he's just like, how do you normally eat your chicken? And I'm just like, I don't know, I just eat chicken. And he's just like, do you not season your food? And I'm like, yeah, with condiments.
Oh no.
He's just like he's literally like stopped and he's like, you're a sadist. He's like, you are nuts. I'm like,
Like,
yeah,
that's crazy,
established
dude.
already, brother.
Mhm.
Here we are.
I couldn't do it, man. Like, even going through prep right now, I gotta have those no calorie seasonings, man.
Dude,
I mean,
spicy mustard is where it's at. I'm telling you, that's been a game changer. We have the one from Schnucks, but like the one at Walmart, it's like $1.59, and it's like spicy mustard, and it's the best. It's so.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. Once I get into prep, I'll definitely get into some different sauces like that. But dude, I am just stuck on Cholula right now. The hot sauce. Yeah, I went through the little bottle. I went through one in like 3 days, so I got the extra big one.
Yep.
And then it's almost gone already too. I've been dumping on everything, and that actually.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that actually, there's since they use red peppers in hot sauce, there's some cayenne pepper in there, and that actually helps speed up your metabolism a little bit.
I was just about to say, back in the day, like I used to dump hot sauce on everything, but back in the day, what's his name? Oh my gosh, big white bodybuilder, won Mr. Olympia, famous for the thigh thing. The thigh.
Oh, the quad stomp.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler.
His name?
Jay Cutler, baby.
Oh, Jay Cutler, yeah. So
Yeah.
he says that his taste buds are pretty much like basically burnt off because he used to just dump hot sauce and drink like the hottest hot sauce just for that little metabolism boost towards the end of his preps. Like, that's freaking crazy, man.
That's insane. I actually never heard that. Like, I've watched every single video ever pops up about him, but yeah, I actually did not hear about that. His eating habits were absolutely ridiculous. Like, he had
all those mass monsters, they're crazy.
Oh yeah, him and Ronnie Coleman. Like, dude, if you ever heard of the bodybuilder Marcus Rule, he was like 300 something pounds on stage, and he was German. Yeah, he would diet on like what I was bulking on, like 5,000-6,000 calories.
My lord,
it's like that's
Lord. I could not imagine. Imagine, dude.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
So there's a reason I don't eat hot sauce, and there's a reason I don't eat many jalapenos anymore, right? Like I've never told this story on camera, so here we go.
Oh, let's get it. Hell yeah.
So in Afghanistan, I used to throw jalapeno. I used to have my chicken, slice of cheese, jalapenos, hot sauce every day. Texas Pete, baby. And that's all I had. Like, I just like, boom, just eat it, right? One day we were going out on a mission, right? We're going to load up. We're on the C-17, or not C-17, C-130. And we're going to the different provinces throughout Afghanistan. I'm pulling security, all this stuff. And dude, I get to the tarmac, and we're probably a half hour away from takeoff, and I'm just like, oh, no. I am like, all of the jalapenos that I just had for breakfast and my eggs and on my chicken and all of the hot sauce that I dumped all over it was just coming home to roost. And we're on this tarmac. It's 95 degrees at freaking 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just see this porta potty, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's like it's a NATO base, so I'm just thinking airstrip. It's got to be a decent porta potties. Newsflash, it's not. It's hot. It's anyway.
Disgusting.
So we get there. We take care of business. Go for the TP. There's no fucking TP. Great. This is fantastic.
Dang.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not done. Take out my knife. Beautiful. I was wearing boxer briefs. They turned into tighty whities because I cut off both legs.
Oh no!
And used it, and I was just like, "Hey, got to get this shit done." pulled out my hand sanitizer, dumped everything out like 3 times, walking back to the aircraft, and I was like, don't worry, boys, we're good. But long story short, that's the reason I don't have any jalapenos in Texas anymore, because I am traumatized from an Afghan porta potty on the freaking tarmac. And my body's just like, don't do it, dude. It's a bad combination. Don't do it.
Yeah, gotta keep it in moderation, man. You go overboard with the spices, that will happen to
22 years
everybody.
old. I didn't know moderation back then. Shit.
Oh yeah, dude, I did nothing in moderation back then, so I completely understand.
It's like, we get free food. We're freaking deployed, so like as much food as
Oh
they're
yeah.
willing to give us, because they do have to like ration it out a little bit. But
Yeah.
like then I just like dump jalapenos, hot sauce, and fresh jalapenos too. It was really awesome. But and then it was just like, oh no, it just hit me one day, and I was just like, oh, we're probably never doing this again.
It's like, yeah, that was a huge mistake.
It was, but it came with a great story. So you know what?
Yeah.
We took care of business. We're still here. We're still alive. We got the mission done. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a good lesson learned. Now you know what not to do.
That's part of life, right? Like basically just doing something, figuring out like probably shouldn't do that again, test the limits a little bit, and keep on moving.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the pod, like making pivots, being able to change the plan as you're going along. Like not everything's going to go along plan. You have to make pivots sometimes. Like that's something I learned very, very well in 75 hard. I'm sure you've been through it a couple times. Like sometimes you got to pivot. Like if you miss a workout, you wake up a little bit late one day and you don't get your morning walk in. Like you're going to have to do those 2 workouts after you get off work. You're going to have to stay up a little late. That's a pivot you got to make. So I think that's super important thing to think about for, I mean, every single thing that you do in life. Not everything's going to go to plan. You got to be able to make a plan, try to execute it the best you can, and then be willing to take a step to the right and do a little bit differently than what you planned on, because it's going to change.
Dude, everybody has a perfect plan until you get hit in the face. Like I think that's Mike Tyson. Like,
Yep.
like in the military, it's everybody has a perfect plan until first contact, right? Like, so like then it all goes to shit. But it's the truest thing ever. Is like you got to be as prepared as possible as you can be, right? And then be willing and prepared to pivot into something new when shit hits the fan. And that's like really, really important for people to understand. Is like it's going to hit the fan. It might be something small, it might be something big, but the ability to make Andy calls it a production pivot, like pivot and go, right? And that's the most important part. Pivot, take action right away, and that's going to get you to your end goal.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, we're recently talking about that in customer service a lot, just because with the way First Form is. Like a good example is my story at First Form. Like I originally thought I was going to run a warehouse. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the East or West Coast and be running a warehouse alone, like taking care of everything. And now I'm in a role in customer service, and I made that pivot because like the warehouse it wasn't the right path for me anymore. And I accepted that, worked on skills that I needed to build to be able to get into customer service and perform. And I made it there. Like it took a while. It definitely was very hard mentally because I was so invested in that original goal. But it really taught me that you have to be able to change plans. Like your goals may change. Like your original dream may change a little bit too. And that's completely okay. As you grow, those things should change. And you'll have to make pivots to be able to get there. Like all the things that you do along the way, the things that you may mess up, like those are just lessons. Like we were just talking about, like the best teacher is failure. You don't fail if you learn.
Dude, I absolutely love that. Like people are like, it's so cliche. Like I either win or I learn. And it's just like, no, dude, it's actually true if you're willing to learn the lesson. Bishop T.D. Jakes, he said something in one of his sermons one time, and he was just like, you're getting so sick of God sending the same lesson over and over and just feeling like you're getting ran over. And he's just like, well, maybe if you learned the lesson, he wouldn't keep sending it to you. And like, that's the big thing. It's just like, all right, cool. Like I'm going to win. And if I actually lose one time, quote unquote, lose one time, and I didn't learn the lesson, guess what's going to run me over again? Probably that same situation. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
run me over until I freaking learn. And then, like what you did, you realized it, you took the proper steps, and it took a long time. Remember, it's reps and sets over a long period of time. It took a while, but now you're in a new position and thriving.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, and yeah, like I said, it's difficult to do that. This is not like we're talking about it, seems real simple, but it's not an easy thing to be able to make that pivot. So no, it
Dude,
will be difficult. You got to get uncomfortable, but like another cliche here, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that is where you're going to grow. And that's just a part of life. Like, you're going to have to go through times where, like, hey, plans aren't working out, but I'm going to do my very best, and I'm going to make this pivot. I'm going to learn. So I
dude,
absolutely love it, man.
I swear, you're reminding me of like all the OG greats right now that like I read and I listen to. So like when you say it's simple but not easy and stuff like that, like that's Jim Rohn, the
Hmm.
OG of motivational, the godfather of business speaking, like taught Tony Robbins everything, right? He says it in one of his speeches. He says it's simple but not easy, right? Like what we're talking about in concept is extremely simple. It really is. Like, hey, make a production pivot. Hey, check your ego. Hey, this, that, and the other. However, that's not easy all the time because our egos do get involved. We are humans. We are looking to continue down the path that we're looking at, especially for like laser like focus, which can be very beneficial. However, it's the ability to kind of
Yeah.
detach, take a view of the world. Am I going in the right direction? Am I not? Am I making the next right decision? Am I not? And it's just like, and then creating a production pivot and going into the next step, right? So it's simple. It's really simple in concept, but it's not easy in execution. And it's not supposed to be, right? Like
Yeah.
if life was easy, everybody would be doing it, and then like what would be the point?
Oh, exactly. Like, there would be no point at all. And that reminds me of a conversation I had with Caden back in the warehouse one day. And real simple concept. Like, if you don't have those points of struggle, if you don't have those hard times, then the good times aren't that good. That's just the normal. So you have to have that balance to actually appreciate those good things too. Like, because if it's all good, like, it's all like, that's just the standard. Like, you're not going to actually be fulfilled from those things. Like, when you go through a struggle, when you go through something really hard and then have success on the other side, after you learn a bunch of times or fail a bunch of times and you get to that success on the other side, like, that's where the real fulfillment comes, where the real success comes, because it's like, you have to have those valleys for the peaks to actually be peaks. There's no peak if you don't have a valley.
Yeah, dude, if there's no night, sunshine just kind of goes like is just like it's normal, right? But like
Hmm.
if it when the night comes, you are going to enjoy that sunshine so much more when it comes up. That sunrise so much more. That sunset so much more because you learn to appreciate it, right? Because of the night, because of the valley, your peaks, you are going to learn to appreciate the journey and the highs so much more.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I really realized that after going through a hard time for a long period of time. It's like you become extremely grateful for all the little things. Like, when you go through like uncomfortable times consistently and able to get out, it's just like, wow, this is amazing, man. It's like freaking sunshine and birds chirping. Like, this is amazing.
Dude, and
And
the
I said
crazy
that
part
because
is like
there's like 40 freaking birds around me right now, so I'm hearing them all.
dude, I love it. I love it. I did a nice little walk this morning. So I got my dose of nature. I got my dose of I got my dose of the mountains. Dude, fun story. So yesterday, this is crazy. Sorry, off the wall. This is so
Good.
crazy. So like my CrossFit gym that I've been going to, CrossFit SoCo, awesome gym. But like it didn't open until 8 o'clock. It's Saturday, right? So
Hmm.
I was just like, oh, I got here early. I'm gonna go for a little jog, right? Jog. We're gonna go for a little jog. So I start off in this one direction, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool. Garden of the Gods. It's one of like the things to see out here in Colorado Springs, right? It's like,
Hmm.
oh, it's only 2.4 miles. We'll see if I get there. Blah blah blah. All of a sudden, I take a right, and there's this massive hill, and I'm like, oh, I'm hill training for the French Alps. This is perfect. I might as well go up this hill. I'm just a chugging. I'm just a chugging, and all of a sudden, here it is, the sign, Garden of the Gods, and I'm like, holy Christ, I made it. I'm like, Garden of the Gods. But like, if I wasn't willing to like take a chance, start jogging in this one direction, take on the hill. Like, the hill made that view so much more worth it, and it was just phenomenal. So then I literally can say that I ran to and in the Garden of the Gods, not on purpose. It just happened. And then, like, just enjoyed the view. It was a beautiful morning, ran back, did some CrossFit. You know, it was a great morning altogether. But, like, it was because my willingness to, like, take the hill, go up there, just being like, all right, let's go, let's do this. And left foot, right foot, let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, you had to push through a little pain in your foot to get up that hill too, right?
Oh, I mean, dude, there's pain like here and there all the time. I'm actually feeling really good these days. But I did have a little pain. It was because of a nail. It wasn't even a pain. It was
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I was chugging along, and I'm like, huh, that's kind of weird. One of my nails, it was on the middle finger, or my middle toe on my right foot, and it was digging into my second toe, and I'm just like, damn it, I didn't cut my nails soon enough. Because, like, it's crazy how something like that small can affect everything in your life, right? Because now, instead of being able to be present, which eventually I was, because I just like cast it out of my mind, but I was just like on this run, and I'm like thinking of like, oh, that's really bothersome. Like, so I'm not being able to be present because I'm dealing with something that's really, really small, to where, like, if I would have just cut it earlier, like, I would have Jordan Peterson slayed the dragon before it got big enough to cause me a problem.
Yeah.
But because I didn't, that dragon grew just big enough, now it became a nuisance. If I let it go, it would start cutting into my foot, and it would become a big problem, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do? I went and cut my freaking nail because I wanted to slay that dragon so that it wouldn't affect me down the line at an even worse clip.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, dude, I have a great experience with that, of not taking care of it, and what can happen if you don't slay that dragon early.
Dude,
It could
sounds like
take,
a
it could,
larger marathon training.
yep, dude,
I hate
it's,
to laugh out loud because you were on crutches for 2 months, but damn.
hey, it's all good, bro. It was a great learning lesson. Like, it was a great way to learn how to keep that positive mindset. But, to get back to the story, basically what happened, I did not listen to my body and that little pain that was happening, and it caused a real big problem. So he slayed that dragon early. I let the dragon get real big, and I ended up on crutches for 2 weeks. But basically, I was training for a marathon, and on a run that we did out, actually, it was on a trail, so nice and rocky, a rough terrain. I rolled my ankle like 2-3 times on a run. It was a 10-miler. I kept running the whole time, so I didn't think it was too bad, but got out of my car once I got to the gas station after the run, and I could barely step on it. But it was just a rolled ankle. It healed up pretty quickly. Ankle was fine after a week or two, but I kept running on it. Like, I was still doing like light jogs, still getting my running in, because I want to make sure I was ready for that marathon. But I was running through the pain. It was not good. I was relying a lot on my right leg. So to talk about slaying that dragon, how to slay the dragon here would have been to take a little bit of rest, actually let my ankle fully heal so I don't have to rely on the other leg to run. And I did not do that. I kept going way too hard on the running. And what that turned into was a stress fracture in my right leg that actually put me on crutches for 2 weeks, because I did not listen to that little pain that I had from my ankle. Like, I let it heal for a couple days, but once it got down enough to where I could like actually get a little fat man jog going, at least I would go do my runs. I would inflame that ankle back up again and then rely more on the right leg. So that dragon became really big, and I couldn't train legs for almost 3 months, and that absolutely just killed me. It hurt my heart, because it is my favorite day in the gym is legs. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I absolutely love leg day. But yeah, that dragon became real big, and it took me out for a few months. So that's what can happen if you don't slay that dragon early. So you get that little pain, you have that feeling that you need to take care of this small detail, like get it done now. Stop thinking about it. That's something I've struggled with. I'm still working on. That's one of my biggest weaknesses now, is overthinking things. Don't overthink it. Take action. That is the cure to anxiety, fear, everything like that. And that's how you prevent that dragon from becoming unslayable, from it taking you out.
Yeah. Yeah, because if there's one thing that's guaranteed, like if you let that dragon grow, eventually it's going to take over your life. And like that's all you can think about. That's all you can kind of, you have to deal with it. And trust me, it's a lot easier and a lot better to slay that dragon when it's small than when it's huge. Yeah, speaking from personal experience, all right? And I know you are too. So I think that's actually a really good place to wrap this pod, man.
Yeah.
We had some great conversation. We did some gratitude. We talked about porta potties in the middle of Afghanistan. We got our gut microbiome taken care of. Finished out with slaying some dragons. So man, once again, I know I started here, but I'm going to finish here. Like, I'm so thankful for you. I appreciate you because like this conversation was awesome. We left some golden nuggets down there or in here for people. And everybody watching this, you guys are awesome too. I appreciate you more than you know. I can't be more thankful for just putting up with two guys with thighs doing a podcast for the 29th episode. Like, this is so cool.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I appreciate you, Sully. Appreciate everybody watching, and let's make it a great week, man.
Yeah, baby. Let's stack some duh.
Let's get it.
Yeah.